everyone, and welcome to more Ticket to Ride here on the Sorcerer Network. My name is Sorcerer Matt. We're back with the USA map, trying to string together some more wins and not have any more faux pas like we had in the last couple games. So, I think it's just these three. I don't think I want to try to make it all the way up to... I don't think I want to try to make it all the way down to Miami, even though Vegas to Miami is really, really great. But this is a really solid start of tickets. I don't think there's any reason to do anything else. And kind of getting down to Dallas, I suppose, is like my extra thing. But I just think getting in and out of Miami is just going to be, with all the other stuff we had to prioritize, I'm okay with that. I think I would feel different if my tickets were not so well plugged into the board. I'm going to go ahead and, because I have a 3, just lock that down. So and the good news here is we got some options for routes. I'm gonna want to get Chicago to Pittsburgh to New York, and I may just go through Boston, just because. But really, out of Denver, we can go up through Omaha, through Kansas City. Boy, really loving that we did not have to worry about the Vegas thing, even though we would have grabbed that first, but. Great that we could grab Los Angeles to Phoenix, because I found that that's a sneaky, if you don't get that with a Los Angeles based kind of game, it can make things rather difficult, because like now the only ways in and out of Los Angeles require either you to go up and around through San Francisco or get a route of 6 through El Paso, which is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. I kind of like the 2 white here. Not so much for like this New York to Pittsburgh, but I don't mind grabbing Phoenix to Denver. Early on in the game, you want to try to find big, long routes, because you got the time. Whereas later in the game, you're wanting kind of quick, easy things. And especially in this USA map, the Mega expansion kind of curbs this a little bit. And I know some of you have been talking about this in the comments that I've been watching. Is, the base game is very, very much a how can I just get the biggest routes that also connect up my stuff, because it really makes a difference. So I've got a couple. I got to decide kind of how aggressive I want to play this, because both red and yellow could be heading on the exact same line that I am. Red is more likely going south, just because of yellow's interference. But yellow could be heading more northwest. Oh, that's interesting. So it seems like green could also be on our path as well. Okay, so yellow is definitely coming this way. So now we kind of make a decision on kind of how we want to go about this. I guess we don't, I tend to always be the person that's making the decision. I'm just going to kind of hang out for a second, and we're going to see what people do, because I don't necessarily mind going Denver to Omaha, Omaha to Chicago. Yeah, so you're grabbing 2 blue and kind of let you guys duke out this aspect of it, and then maybe I scare them with doing like a Phoenix to Denver and kind of maybe make them accelerate their plans. I'm maybe thinking way too big brain here, but I don't know. You can. I'm now that I've played the game quite a lot. I've been that's also interesting. I've been trying to experiment of what can I kind of goad players into doing. So like I'm going to do this and just kind of see what people do with that. Are we all like going the same way the middle of the map? Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's interesting. So, I don't think that I need to do anything with that. I know I have the black, and I know going Denver to Kansas City is a thing, but I also am not feeling like I have to do that, and so I'd rather play my advantage a little bit of I'm good. Yeah. Now I don't have any blue or pink. To go through Omaha, but I think this is okay because now red is also going through the middle, which is bonkers to me. So I'm okay grabbing this white. Man, and I've got plenty of wilds. So, I mean, at this point, I think I probably maybe should have done this last turn or another turn ago, but man, grabbing another wild off the top here. Going Pittsburgh to Chicago, and then going Phoenix to Denver, and then, grabbing. Man, if there's all this pink on board, I want to grab that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go like that. The green is fine. I mean, I need other stuff as well. Really, the only disadvantage that this route has is like getting down to Dallas is one more route. But I could also, I got some other things I could do here. There's other ways that I can get into Dallas. So I know that pink is there. I don't want to wait on this any longer. Clearly, people are coming in this direction, and I would prefer not to mess with them. So the other thing we have to be careful of too is that yellow also has not decided, hey, I need to reroute as well, and maybe yellow is looking at going up this way. So, okay, well that's slightly annoying. Let's roll the dice to save some wilds because we can still go through the middle here given the cards that we have. And obviously, green's not going to grab Denver to Kansas City. Don't tempt me with this black. I'm not doing that. 100% doing this. And I probably should grab Denver to Phoenix sooner rather than later as well. So yeah, yellow's kind of losing in all this. That is a very interesting combination of routes by green. That I mean, again, like I said earlier, you could points, but if you needed to connect up Omaha, going Kansas City to Omaha with just one is much easier, but a lot less points. And I guess in this case, maybe green is looking at a more defensive play. Yeah, I think yellow's best route is going south here. which actually works out very well for us. I kind of want yellow to go in a completely different direction. Okay, let's grab this. I'm loving that. Yeah, so yellow just kind of adapts, probably going through Oklahoma City, which is not a bad route, unless they needed to hook up, unless they needed to hook something up, like in the northern or the Midwest or northern half of the map. But it seems like yellow is very content to continue on the path they're on. If that green is still there, I'm going to grab that, and then it often feels bad using a pair on a wild, but in this case, I think I'm okay with it. And I know I need to worry about getting up to Montreal as well, and down to Dallas, but we can probably draw some tickets before then. I would like to kind of be on the I would like to be drawing within the next 5 turns, I think. Okay, so I like this. A little bit concerned with green grabbing a pink, that they're going to grab Kansas City to St. Louis here, but that again doesn't screw us. It would just be a little more annoying. All right, so I'm happy doing that. That keeps us more on schedule here. And now, because we grabbed the pink and didn't use the wild there, I'm okay using a wild to go Chicago to St. Louis. And then probably at that point, drawing. It's weird that I have seen very little blue outside of the 3 that I had in my hand initially. And I still think it was the correct move to go Los Angeles to Phoenix first. I think that was the correct move. Curious what Red's kind of plan is as well, because I think Red was hoping to go through the middle, but yeah, we all had very, very similar plans here, which is really funny. All right, again, we're not goofing around. We're gonna grab this. We're all in the middle. We don't need to have any shenanigans happen, and I feel good about drawing here and kind of seeing what is it that we can maybe. I would love to have some more Los Angeles routes in my hand here, especially Los Angeles to New York and such. And we got plenty of time. That I'm also feeling like if we did get something in the Northwest, we probably could make that work. So Chicago to Santa Fe is a yes. I'm probably okay with Chicago to Boston as well, because I got to get up to Montreal, and that's just a pair. That's a little bit risky, but I suppose if I miss it, it's 7 points. So be it. So now it is, we definitely need blue, but then at that point we just need pairs. All right, well, Santa Fe just got a tad more difficult to get into, but not anything super difficult. It also does change the math a little bit on, Dallas if we really wanted to. Because there is a pair here on board, I feel the need to take it. I also would prefer to go Phoenix to Santa Fe with just 1 triple, but like if I didn't need the 3 blue to go New York to Montreal, I'd say, well, we could find 3 blue to go Phoenix to Santa Fe to Oklahoma City, and that would give us a little bit more points than just coming down from Kansas City. But I'm okay with this. Okay, well, I guess we are. I guess we are going Phoenix to El Paso and then up to Santa Fe. So yellow needed to get into Phoenix, which was interesting. This might be. I'm curious if green is gonna do something like, or whether green just needs to get to Montreal. All right, well, there's a blue that I would very much like. What does green do here? I wonder if green is needed to get into New York and is now going to... Yeah, I might need to blow all of my wilds here to go New York to Montreal. I feel like I'm trying to prioritize too many things. I don't love that there's only one more route into Santa Fe. Now, that's only 9 points, so that doesn't really bother me all that much. I hate the 2 blue sitting there, but I hate that green is up there even more. That just... And so I need the route, and I don't mind if green needed to get into New York, then we've just made that much more difficult. Yellow is probably in the best position. I think outside of us, I think we're in a pretty decent position, to be honest with you. I'm not mad about where we're at. All right, and I'm okay just go ahead and doing this. Partly defensively and partly just to nail that down. I think there's less competition in the Santa Fe realm. It would be, I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect there, but I feel good about that decision. This also does make getting some red and going that direction a little bit more viable. I think my hope is that we rerouted yellow enough. Like, yellow had to spin around into Phoenix here. So there's the Phoenix to Boston is yellow, is what I'm assuming. Okay, so I'm very happy to do this, and then I'm very happy to grab a red. And if all this red is here, that's pretty nice. Okay. So yellow has hooked up everything. So they probably have Vegas to New York, Phoenix to Boston, and maybe the Dallas to New York route, because we have Dallas to Montreal. Is that Dallas to New York? I think that's one. That's probably the most likely, unless it's what is it, Pittsburgh to... I don't know. Well, this is a very interesting interesting route from red. And if this was the plan all along, this has worked out very well for red. Established the through the middle, kind of, in some cases, like baited us. Okay, yeah, all this red is here. And I think that says, let's go ahead and take this. All right, so yellow goes destination tickets. That makes sense, because they completed all their stuff. And I'm feeling like before I get too draw happy that I want to complete what I have. And then kind of in the late game here, we're maybe looking for some Houston stuff. Even New Orleans is still very wide open. Washington is still there. Raleigh we could do. Really, Atlanta, Nashville's kind of the only thing that at this point would be a little bit challenging. But... you know. So I think I'm going to roll the dice here. If that red is there, I'm definitely rolling the dice. That yellow... Well, actually, no, that's not rolling the dice, because I would be worried... So what I'd be worried about right now is that yellow drew something into El Paso and then has a pair. Yellow does not have a pair, because they have one card. So I don't need to worry about them grabbing this. So I can grab this red. And even if the red is not there, I would just grab something off the top, which I'm going to do here. So now we spend the next 3 turns shoring all of this up. This took maybe a little bit longer than I would have liked, because we are having to take an additional route here instead of just going down Denver to Santa Fe. So be it. So I think that the order here is Santa Fe to El Paso, Phoenix to El Paso to Dallas. And I think we feel very, very good about that. Okay, excellent. I have very little read on green. What you've got a Chicago to Salt Lake. Has Montreal to Denver won? I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting a route. I'm forgetting a route. That's a really nice route by Red. And a potential to be very, very huge in terms of points. And speaking of points, I like where we're at on board. We're tied with Red. Now, granted, we've played 5 more trains than Red, but still, we are tied with them. I like the drawing here. I wish I could magically have, like, 3 more cards in hand, but so be it. All right, Denver to El Paso. That's great. Kansas City to Houston is nice. And I think we can do Duluth to El Paso here. I don't think I want to do Sault Ste. Marie to Oklahoma City. That's a little bit much. But I think we can make this work. It's slightly risky, but the risk is mitigated by that these are not. I mean, losing out on Duluth to El Paso would be a little bit worse than losing out on Kansas City to Houston. But I like the volume of tickets. So yeah, that's slightly annoying because now we need 3 red in order to get into Duluth. So I think I'm going to go ahead and draw off the top. But I definitely can get into Houston. It would be pretty unlucky at this point if we did not get into Houston. So I'm going to go ahead and keep drawing off the top and hoping I can hit some red. That's very nice. And I now can either grab a wild or a red. So if there's not a wild or a red on board, I will grab the Houston. And then we'll go from there. That wasn't as detrimental as I think maybe I initially thought. It really just is. I hate this late in the game having to find a specific color, because there's nothing worse than drawing, and just there's nothing. So at this point, you know, I said earlier that yellow I thought was kind of my biggest competition. Probably at this point, you're looking at red, especially as red draws more tickets, because you're looking at. So red might have your Vegas to New York, but red could also have Seattle to New York. Portland to Nashville is a good one. And they could just have little ones like Washington to Atlanta or Boston to Washington. So it's not. I always project that someone's sitting on monster tickets, and then I would say a good like 60% of the time is they just have like one big ticket and a bunch of small ones. That's really what we're missing here. Is we're missing kind of the big ticket. We're kind of going over quantity rather than quality. That's a really nice draw, but it is what it is. I like grabbing Duluth to Chicago and then drawing. Red's big advantage in this game is that nobody was in the Northwest. And so really all these late game things, if they're grabbing anything that is the Northwest, I mean, it's cake. Yeah, I'm feeling very good about doing that. Getting up in a Winnipeg late is a choice. Red draws more. I still think there's plenty that we can hit that I'm happy to draw here. Really, the big disadvantage in drawing that we have with this game is there's so many people that are on a similar route tree that there's a chance that a lot of these are just gobbled up already, and so we're drawing into potential nothingness. But I like Houston to Washington, and then obviously we're not grabbing anything else. We're not getting up into Calgary. We're definitely not getting up into Vancouver, and we're not getting up into Seattle. But Houston to Washington's a pretty good get. I realize we need a pair still, and as of this moment, a Pittsburgh to Washington could get taken very easily, but we will at least have a shot at it. The only way we don't is if given what's on board, we will definitely have a pair next turn. Pretty evenly paced game. So yeah, we'll grab that, and then we can just grab one off the top. I like the wild here. That at least gives us the option to grab another pair. Like, I could just go into New Orleans. I think this, unless some really crazy stuff happens, like some crazy ticket draws, this is a game between me and red. I think that unless yellow and green catch up big time on tickets, there's no way. Now, I think that yellow does have a lot of big tickets. Probably a San Francisco to Sault Ste. Marie, Las Vegas to New York, Phoenix to Boston. Like, this is a little bit of a risk, but it probably... I don't think it helps me if red keeps drawing. So, probably what I would like to do is play Houston to New Orleans to trigger the last turn. And then draw, hoping I can hit 1 out of 4 tickets just to be able to get the 15-point bonus, assuming that red does not also draw tickets. But this also maybe is a little bit of a coward's way to think about this, but I'm feeling really good about second place. Feeling really, really good about second place. And so I don't want to screw that up. So we just need one of these to hit. Okay, Duluth to Houston hits. I don't think that anything else does, though I'm going to check because it would be me. Of course, this is disappointing that we did not grab into Miami. Still think that was the best thing for us, but hey, we did it. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. So we take away the 15-point bonus from red, but as we are seeing, red just has ouch. Whoa. Yeah, we do not have that juice. We don't have that juice. I don't even think a 15-point. I don't think a 15-point bonus. I don't think even like if we had longest train that would save us. Red clearly has longest train, but I don't even think if we had longest train that would save us. However. I'm not going to sneeze at a score of 152. And we're going to get into the 160s here. Yeah, there's all the big tickets from yellow. So yellow had, Wow. Yeah. I mean, hats off to red there in that game. Beautiful game by red. But I guess kind of to toot my own horn here, very much correctly read in the end game, read how that game was going. I did not want to give Red any other chance to get more of a lead because again, we don't know. Maybe Red had every big ticket that you could possibly have on that route. But we didn't know. Maybe they had, maybe they had Boston to Washington and Washington to Atlanta, and so okay, they didn't have as much of a lead. So I didn't want Red to draw more. Yellow also, this whole getting into Washington told me they probably hit the San Francisco to Washington, and Yellow was very close behind us, and so did not want Yellow to get more ticket draws. And then I don't know what was going on with Green. Not really sure what the plan was there. So I will say, from a standpoint of like understanding what was happening, I read that correctly, but. I mean, this is, 125 points with tickets. And the crazy thing is, we had 93. And so it wasn't like we were way off, but that also shows we only had one more ticket than them, and Red had 32 more points in tickets. And then this is also interesting that both me and Yellow, despite Yellow having 3 less tickets, we had the same amount of points with completed destinations. Everyone was kind of even on points with claimed routes. Like, this isn't the reason that we won or lost. I mean, there was a little bit of a gap between Yellow and the top, but I don't think anything huge. We all collected about the same amount of train cards. Again, as usual, the people who are more efficient with their cards tend to be the ones that win. We had a good, visible versus hidden. Interesting, the last person took all things visible. No hidden train cards. Interesting. Took 8 locomotives. Probably a big reason why Green struggled. Though, interestingly enough, Green had the biggest average, claimed route length. We kept 7 additional ones, hit all of them. And then Green or Red kept 4. But Red just... I mean, sometimes you hit the stone cold nuts on tickets, and it feels really great. Over 200 points is a great score, but 167 is also a great score. So, that's a really, 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 really fun game, to be honest with you. That game had a lot of good, twists and turns of, are we all going through the middle, and a couple reroutes, but outside of Green, nobody missed a ticket. So, all these reroutes and everything, everyone was still able to kind of complete their own stuff. So, all right, well, hey, if you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button, comment, and we'll see you next time.